Hello and welcome to the live edition Dev Update Ergoversary edition. And with me today, I have Mark the Shark. How you doing, Mark the Shark?
Yeah, pretty good. Trying to stay cool out here in Colorado. It's warming up in the summertime, so.
What's the temperature right now in freedom units?
Shoot, I don't know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. It's probably here. 1 second. That's like where are all my apps and catch me on the spot. 70 degrees. So it's not too bad, but my boiler, tankless boiler, is like in the room next door.
Oh,
And
that's
so
gotta get
it's
a little
just
toasty, huh?
yeah, definitely.
You're like, honey, why do you have to take 3 showers a day? Come on.
Right, absolutely. And I already run hot too, so it's just like, oh geez.
Oh gosh, yeah, we just had to get a new boiler in our house. What a pain in the ass. Oh goodness gracious.
Jeez. Yeah, so how are you doing, QX? Rocking and rolling?
Rocking and rolling, hanging in there, happy, all pumped up because of Ergoversary today. Ergo is
Absolutely.
5 years old. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's wild. Are you gonna sing us happy birthday to Ergo for us? We can wait maybe and let you.
Do I have my guitar? Let me see what I have. I've got a ukulele.
Oh, dude.
I don't want to have to get up. My guitar's way over there. Oh, you got one too?
Hell yeah. Cool.
Hang on, let me see what I got. 1 sec. Don't move.
Cool. While he's hanging out, we'll just jam.
What key in, sir? This took a turn for the worse. All right, we'll put that down.
Hey, hey, I like it though. We gotta put a little riff together.
We should. It's got to be hard over the internet, though. All right, let's get back on track. Ergoversary. That was our edition of Happy Birthday, somewhere over the rainbow, kind of
Absolutely.
mixture. Perfect. What was I going to say? So Ergoversary. What's that mean to you, Mark? As somebody who's kind of new to the Ergo ecosystem, well, socially, right? You've been poking around for quite a while, but just decided recently to pop your head in. What's that mean to you, sir?
Yeah, so I guess 5 years, 5 years old, so that's pretty sweet. I guess to me, it's kind of just to kind of, I don't know, it's kind of tough, I suppose, just in the sense like, since I am new to the scene socially, been around easy boy, been around since 21, but it's crazy to see all the growth, So year over year, it's really nice to see just from where we were in 2021. We were using Roy. Now we got.
You're right? Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Did you say that you can tell? That's a good litmus test to see how old an Ergo user is. Just in the room, say "Yo, Roy," and you'll tell the Ergo user who's been around for a couple of years. They'll just go. Oh.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's like we've come a long ways. You know what I mean? We've and hopefully, right, some ideas in terms of how to live life is like 1% better every day. And so I'd say we're approaching some exponential growth, especially with respect to those shitty wallets that we used to have. Like Nautilus is just so much better, and especially all the cool stuff it does, like especially the NSFW sort of filters that they have.
Token filter, yeah, right.
Yeah, things like Rustin's help facilitate. Yep. So you guys aren't blasting us with these BBC tokens, like.
I think Cannon really pushed for that. I think he's got some wallets for his kids, and he's like, "Oh God, I do not want that stuff in my kids' wallets." So it's nice with Captain Nemo having to do the rewrite for Google to stay on the store, the Chrome store. He was, I think, he felt bad that I was testing the Abyss browser, and he's like, "Okay, we can implement it real quick." So he did. I think he did it within like 8 hours. He implemented the 2 toggle switches and that it would check out the repository, the I forget, YAML file on GitHub. And anybody that wants to add to that a scam token, I know somebody was looking to add Neta to it. That was like the I was like, come
Might as
on,
well,
guys. um, so you can just go to the GitHub and you can do a pull request for it. Essentially, you just if for those of you who aren't familiar with GitHub, all you have to do is go to the repository, make an account, and you hit that fork button in the upper side. You edit the file yourself, and then you'll see a pull request right there. You hit it, add a comment, and then Rustin gets notified and he can activate it. And I think it's pretty instant because I think every time you open up Nautilus or it loads, it checks that list for you. So it's pretty good. I think it's a good tool to have to help with newcomers who maybe aren't in tune, but once scam tokens start being prevalent, and of course the BBC images, and I don't know,
Absolutely.
passing corporation.
Yeah, and it's funny you brought up Neta because it's like I would say that's even the sign of the times too, relative to when you got integrated into the ecosystem. Because I remember when Neta first started, and it was like, oh, sick, this is going to be really cool. Bought a bunch of the NFTs and everything, and then now, obviously, knowing where it's at now, so it's really cool to obviously, we've had these bumps along the way, so to speak, and then now I think, especially with Rosenbridge, really kind of like shining a light to really where Ergo could go, just from like a interoperability perspective, but then of course like the whole ethos of everybody, permissionless, and really for everybody, versus like even today on the future of proof of work, with kind of talking the difference between proof of stake and proof of work coins. And
That was
really
that was a good spaces, wasn't it?
yeah, absolutely. And like my big takeaway was just like proof of stake. It's like it's very permission based, and I never really thought about that. You know what I mean? It's very like you have to own the token. You got to buy it at a certain price. And I guess the same could be said with a GPU. Depending on the bull market and where you're at, you might buy a GPU. It's more expensive than not, but it was an interesting sort of paradigm I didn't really think about.
Yeah, but proof of work gives anybody the ability to enter the ecosystem on their own terms, at their own
Right.
rate. So if you have a ton of money or you have the resources to buy GPUs and mine and support the network that way, then that's great. Or if you have an old gaming rig that you're just kicking around, and you just fire it up and want to put, like, I have a 3090 in the basement, that I just fire away with that because I game on something else. So that gives you the freedom of choice. You don't have to ask any permission to it. I could, although I wouldn't want to, I could solo mine if I want to. I could set up my own node in Stratum and mine myself, and maybe in a year on 300 mega hash, I'd hit a block. But that's something I can do, and I don't have to go find an exchange to buy something at. I don't have to make sure I'm KYC'd in to get something. It's just the pure, I guess, freedom of availability there that proof of work does. FC Cannon in the chat said POS is security, life brought to blockchains, he says. So yeah, I get it. Yeah. But yeah, so those kind of things are neat. That it was nice to hear, I guess, like-minded individuals talking about it. The Nervos people, the Alephium people, and Kushti, of course, all kind of talking about the same kind of thing. And the overall thing that I got from that is that these systems are building slowly over time for like an unbreakable. I mean, they're building, as Joe says, they're building for war. And it's
Totally.
nice to hear that and hear that echo through these people too, that are proof of work chains, as opposed to, oh, let's spin something up and who holds the tokens and put them somewhere and then people can buy them, and that's how they're in.
Right.
Kind of, I'm not dissing proof of stake, but it's it's a different beast, and it facilitates different things. So
a lot of it, I think, too, is like they're flying at the seat of their pants. It's kind of it seems like it's very just like a cash grab almost. It's like, we have this idea, let's just run with it. And not all of them are like that, right? But I suppose, like, it seems like Cardano, for example, they really took the approach. They really have all the research papers, so to speak. But like something like Solana, you know what I mean? I don't know. It seems like there's people just like a money grab. They're just trying to, not really thinking about it. Versus, even that's where it's kind of weird when some people say, well, proof of work is just so old. It's like, well, there were a lot of different paradigms within society. Doesn't mean we should throw them away because they're old. If anything, we should embrace them, fix the things. There might be a specific pillar on this specific infrastructure that could be maybe helped, but right, we don't think
How old is the fiat system? I gotta ask this.
exactly. That's like, if we think about it, that's got to be like, I mean, over 1,000 years old, probably even more than that, because gold is. When did we first, like, I don't know, everybody was obsessed with gold, all the way to ancient times.
Yeah, FC says, show me which POS proof of stake chain didn't do a pre-sale. He said he'll wait patiently. So I
True,
get it.
fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
I mean, I,
Yeah,
I mean, I think it serves its purpose for what it's doing there, but I'm a proof of work guy, so it's really hard to convince me otherwise at this point in my life. But yeah. And did you see any of the videos today on the on YouTube? Have you watched those yet?
I watched the first one with Kushti. I think it was like Ergo trees, or no, Sigma
Mm-hmm.
trees.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
but that was like super early in the morning. My little one decided to wake up at 5 a.m. So half
So
paying attention,
inconsiderate.
half
I
being
can't
there.
believe that.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I watched some of that, and then I jumped over to the Stanford guy talking about
Okay, great.
how they could utilize these blocks essentially, so that so the way the blockchain works is you have, oh, you can tell I worked on my car this weekend. The way the blockchain works is you have people inputting transactions into the blocks, and so you could have one chain here, one chain here, one chain here. This chain kind of finishes first, it's longer, or this finger's longer, I guess. So these other two chains are gone, and this is the only chain this is a true chain. All right, and then it builds from there. The next one goes from there. So that's how it works. So in his video, from what I understand, the brief parts that I watched, is there's a way to not waste this effort from the other two, the other chains that are being built that didn't make it in time or weren't the longest chain. So it was an interesting idea that they're working on there. But
What would be the application, I suppose, with that?
um I guess I should rewatch it. I didn't catch that part. I
Sure,
was
fair
I
enough.
was trying to work on a computer at work and watching it at the same time. It's kind
Totally get that.
of but you should watch it. It was a pretty interesting video. Um, and then I think there's another surprise one tomorrow from somebody off chain. Let me actually see. I'm not going to tell you who they are because I think they're keeping them secret, right?
Yeah, I
But
think so too.
I
Yeah.
can at least hint to it. Let me go to content here. It's their
Which
fault.
brings us to a nice little segue. If you do want to get involved with the Ergo community and a community-based, decentralized autonomous organization, the Sigmanauts, always accepting members. And we do have privy, which we are privy to the events that will be taking place over the next couple of days. So
Yes, yes, yes. So tomorrow there's let's see. Yeah, a better proof of work fork choice was what I watched today for the Stanford guy. I believe. Oh, we've got a special one. I can tell you, I got a special one from Dan the Man coming up tomorrow. Trade House was pretty cool. It's a really short one. It gives you quite a quick overview of Trade House. Um, we got Bruno coming up too tomorrow from Gluon. And there's a neat thing that we've heard Kushti talk about briefly in the AMAs, and there's going to be a presentation about that tomorrow. The guy's first name is Lucas, so maybe you guys can look that up and figure out what that is. We've got the Sigmanauts, kind of history of Sigmanauts chat up. That's myself, that's Marc Glasgow, and Noah. And when we did that, I was like, okay, let's get Noah, who was there at the very beginning, and let's get Marc, who's been there all the way through, and myself, who came middle until now, kind of thing. So it's a kind of a good, like, hey, how was it back when you were there, and what made you make these decisions? So that was a fun talk, a lot of laughing, and Andy put a really shitty thumbnail of myself laughing.
right.
Everybody else was like kind of serious, and I'm like,
Yeah.
thanks, Andy. I really
That would be a
appreciate
good one
that
for
one.
sure.
But there's a good array of videos tomorrow, and also the spaces that's coming up, where we invited all the DApps and the projects up to talk at 4 p.m. UTC. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Perfect.
Are you going to come to the spaces, Marc? Are you free?
Yeah, I should be free. I just need to check, I guess, what the UTC is relative to my time, but generally, schedule's pretty open.
Perfect.
Should be there.
Okay, let's see. you wanted to chat a little bit about the proposal you just put up on Padilla. Why don't you do that while I start scrolling through this damn dev update?
Okay, perfect. Sweet. So if you guys don't know, Idea is a framework built on the blockchain. And so basically allows us to vote. The Sigma knots, we're testing it out, beta testing it. And so when I first, I guess, got onboarded, I was kind of suggesting the idea of making a mining pool with the DAO. So because it constantly sort of in the mining space and crypto space in general, miners are always worried about money relative to mining, and I totally get that. It's a business, but also at the same time, I think it's also kind of up to us to build tools for miners. And so, for example, if you think about Ethereum, they kind of just said, forget miners, so to speak, for whatever reasons. And so it's important for us to have a say. And so part of that is setting up DAO. And so specifically for our mining pool, it would be great if we could have that. And so we could say, hey, we want to do X, Y, Z with these funds. We want to vote on the pool's percentage fee. We want to do whatever. We want to pay some guy to do X, go to some event, whatever. So essentially right now, the pool is run by myself and QX, but I guess it's under the main umbrella as the Sigma knots. And so this proposal is to facilitate, I guess, the branching and kind of creating like an ecosystem, I suppose it could be called, for Sigma knots. So Sigma ecosystem, and then within that ecosystem, we potentially would have each respective organizations. And so a lot of this is sort of up in the air and how this is going to work. And so I created a proposal on Paideia. And so to quote QX here, the intent is that the pool is to run and controlled by miners. The whole idea is to empower the miners and teach them that they can control Ergo. And so that's what we're trying to do. And so just trying to create a discussion in terms of how we should do that. What should our mission statement be? What should the Sigmanauts mission statement be? Should it be simply they will support the Sigmanaut ecosystem, which currently includes the Sigmanaut mining pool DAO? Should there be other stuff? What do you guys think? It certainly shouldn't just be what I think, right?
This is community discussion. Padilla allows community discussion too. Anybody can come and comment without a wallet, right? Do you even need a wallet to comment on these proposals?
I think you do need a wallet, but you don't need a token.
You don't need a DAO token for that specific DAO. Okay.
Because it does say like specific people in terms of the address commented and stuff.
And I hope Sahara and Rare aren't watching this. There goes all of Padilla.
So yes, let us know. Let me know what you guys think. Kind of testing out this sort of, I guess, prototype of democracy relative to the mining pool. And so another thing is like traditionally mining pools are, for profit, obviously, right? But they're trying to make money. They're running across multiple different coins. Well, this pool is only on Ergo right now. So we're for Ergo, by Ergo. And so we're really just supporting the community, supporting the ecosystem. And so come help us, come join us, give us your hash rate or send us your hash rate. We're doing some pretty cool things that other pools aren't doing. And so you can help us shape what that democracy may or may not look like.
And I've said for a while now, and I'll say it again, I don't think the SIG should be the only community group. That's going to be like, what's the point of it? It's just going to be another, foundation. So these kind of things where there's opportunities for groups to splinter off, but still be kind of part of the SIGs and still, uphold the mission statement of the SIGs and the purpose of the SIGs, as well as be potentially a revenue source for themselves and the SIGs. I think those can live in harmony and be better overall. Last thing you want is like a mining group that's kind of crippled in what they can do because they have to roll it back up to the Sigmanauts and ask questions and then get it voted on their Padilla before it comes back down. And that's kind of a bureaucracy that's going to murder us all. So this kind of thing will make it a little more autonomous to where the mining pool can kind of operate on its own with still a responsibility to kind of help fundraise the SIGs and uphold their values. So I think it's a win-win for everybody in that case.
Yeah, and
And
so one
I
thing.
was showing it up on the screen while you were saying that, so
Oh,
it's
perfect,
people can see it.
and so like one thing we're actively sort of problem solving is, how should we distribute tokens, DAO tokens to the miners? So right now, if you're aware, me and QX are in an alpha phase with this sort of swap mechanism. And so we both, for example, have more than one mining wallet essentially right now. So if we were to do it per miner, we'd both get 2 tokens. That doesn't make any sense. We could do a snapshot. Again, maybe it doesn't make sense. We could distribute them, say, hey, raise your hand. I want a token, verify they're in the pool. Fantastic. You get a token. But then how does it work in terms of they stay for a day, then they leave, and then now they have a DAO token? So again, it's very nuanced. It's very complicated. We need a lot of people's sort of opinions so we can kind of narrow on this solution. And it shouldn't just be our answers, I guess, right to the solution. I think we have like 50 miners, so we should have like a decent amount of say. And even to reiterate, like if somebody else wanted to spin off their own mining pool, you could use my mining UI. You could reach out to us. We could probably give our config, so you could set up your own mining pool.
I've sent my config to people already. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like we should totally have more community mining pools. We need to get rid of this sort of like, I mean, granted, I think it's good to have these sort of big pools like DX pool, Wooly Pulley, but I think, they're not actively developing, as far as I know, on the ecosystem. They're just sort of, trying to make money, either selling the coin right as you mine it. I mean, that's cool, I guess, right? But at the end of the day,
Yeah, it's tough. You can't rag on miners too much for
of
covering
course.
costs. You know what I mean? But
No, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. But I think, right, if we're in the ecosystem, we're mining the coin, it'd be great if you wanted to support something for the ecosystem. So maybe maybe boost your own bag, so to speak. If we're again talking about money here, so do something that supports that versus like you wouldn't want to. From a U.S. perspective, right? You're probably invested in a lot of companies that are in the U.S. You're probably not really invested in some companies maybe outside of the U.S. Maybe not, right? This might be a stupid argument, but for the most part, like for me, for example, I'm invested into a lot of companies in the U.S. because I want the U.S. I don't know. Maybe now that I'm kind of thinking about it, maybe it doesn't make too much sense, but I'm trying to come up with an analogy on the fly. But hopefully, you guys get what I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying, Mark.
Yeah.
The cool thing about mining too is that, right, regardless of price, I mean, you have hash rate that fluctuates, but let's say you invest in some cards, all right? As long as, until emission tails and the emissions goes down, for that period of time, no matter what the price does, you're mining the same coin as long as the hash rate, you're mining the same amount. So the power that you've purchased from back in the day with whatever spending power you had there purchases the same coin each time, regardless if the price goes to $1.50 or 89 cents. So there's a benefit and a slip there, as opposed to DCAing too is another, method to do it, of course, but then your buying power of the dollar might not be as much as it was worth back when, you initially were going in. So there are variations and fluctuations there. I personally just like mining. I mean, I mine because I can set it. It's like my automated DCA kind of thing, even though it's a small amount. It does something. I get my Bitcoin, a Rosen Bitcoin right now.
Nice.
To my wallet every couple days, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, there you go. It's definitely a really cool mechanism, and it really opens the door in terms of like just getting familiar with technology, as well, especially just like, if you want to learn Linux and run your stuff on Linux, it's a great way to learn and kind of open the doors in terms of that, or whatever you're trying to do. Put a spreadsheet together. It's a business, so it's a good lesson. Good lessons.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that I was surprised about too. I never thought of it that way, but I was talking to, I forget who it was, one of the miners, and he's like showing me stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, here's a spreadsheet I have." I'm like, "Holy shit! This guy's got like it's legit. Like he's got everything calculated. His energy costs. He can do a little tweak, and boom, it changes all the numbers. So
Yeah.
it's not just something that people willy nilly turn on and point their stuff to. It's a thought out thing, and people are mining Ergo right now, maybe not for the money, depending on where they live, but for speculation and to support the network. So it's,
Totally.
it's great. It's great. We like the miners. We like miners.
Exactly. And let's empower them. Let's educate them. It's always great to learn, hopefully, right? So, and that's the whole point of the community-based pools. And again, if you want to start your own, hit us up. Happy to help you out. And plus, it'd be interesting if from like a community partnership level, if it was like, if we had different community pools that we could like work with, and like, how could that work? And so, maybe, we could like rent hash rate from them somehow, and then that we get the reward, or I don't know, what I mean? There's could be some nuances that just aren't there because people aren't doing that yet. And so once that more chess pieces get added to the board, there are now more levels to be played, and then that could help other people in some different ways that no one's ever sort of thought about. So it's kind of interesting.
I think it'd be neat to have a competing mining pool. I mean, you come to think about it, right? I don't think people realize that the less people in a mining pool, the less blocks you're going to hit. But the less blocks, but the more reward you're going to get divided up amongst yourselves. So it all evens out in the end, correct? Over a certain threshold, it all
Yeah.
evens out in the end. And we're sitting at a sweet spot, 60, 70, 80, some 85 gigahash. That produces on, sometimes we'll get 3 blocks a day. Sometimes like a couple days ago, we got what, like 10? We hit a 10 blocks like 3 days ago. So we'll range in between those, and it all evens out. So I mean, ideally, yeah, I think these couple hundred gigahash pools, it'd be really nice, until Lithos comes at least, to have these kind of subgroups around. So if anybody wants to, like Mark said, anybody wants to take our code and spin up a mining pool and go at it and garner some support and get some people pointing towards it, by all the power to you. That'd be fantastic to have some. It'd be nice too to have some competition in in the direct space. Right now, the only thing that motivates me is Mark being like, "Hey, Andre, you got that you got that shit done you promised weeks
Like,
ago."
let's go, son. No, it's all good. But yeah, it's like a little arms race. We could have like some competition. That'd be so fun in some sense that.
Yeah, I mean, even like projects could do it on their own. I mean, GitBlock was amazing back then, but nothing stopping like Mav from spinning up a Bober pool where he gets 10, 20 gigahash from a couple people, from 10 people or 15 people, and he can start dropping Bober tokens as bonus straight.
Yeah,
So you can
absolutely.
have these kind of themed mining pools would be really neat.
Right. And then we kind of sort of take on, I guess, some of the persona that like I think Cardano does really well, to where it's like becomes very marketing based with their sort of pools. And it's like, well, why would I join your pool? Like you're saying, it's like, oh, well, you can get bonus tokens of Bober at this
Exactly.
Bober pool. And then, oh, well, oh, you're going to do that. We're going to create value over here. And so we're not just creating value in like the base token we're mining. We're creating value, I guess, within like the community members from like a human to human perspective.
Yep.
But then we're also adding value just in the tools to be able to like, oh, you're going to do that. Well, I'm going to make this mining spreadsheet. So from a tax purposes, you're more set up, or we're going to integrate with like crystal pools or, whatever the case. Right.
Yeah, when I went to Rare Evo last year, or not at Rare Evo, CNFT Con, I came back with that exact same perspective because I met a lot of Cardano ISPOs, stake pool SPOs, not ISPOs, SPOs, and I said, why can't we make running a mining core pool as sexy as SPO?
Yeah.
I said, why can't we get like these people who have like big personalities that are like, come to my mining pool. It's really cool. We have Friday night hangouts. We have poker night on Sundays, that kind of stuff. Make it a community thing. And that's my hope eventually, for that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's on. I think the wave is coming. I think for sure, because I definitely want to push for that too. And I think it's all about empowering people to do that. Just like, in some sense, you've empowered me to kind of help and be where I'm at with respect to the pool, which has been pretty great, so, and I know there's some other folks within our six mining chat that have been super helpful and always want to learn and things like that. So I think slowly but surely, keep doing what we're doing and eventually it'll stick. Right. build it, they will come, I think is a nice motto.
So Mark, do you have your ticket for Rare Evo yet?
You haven't sent it to me.
No, I mean your plane ticket. Are you biking? Are you biking there, Mark?
I'm biking, yeah.
you getting your solar car out and you're gonna start hitting these 3 miles an hour?
I'm actually I'm waiting for this weekend. I've got some personal news that may or may not change things where I'll be flying out at, and then once I have that figured out. But a friend of mine that I was able to swing with to come to the event, he's already got our hotel room, so we'll be staying in Trump Tower. Yeah, which is funny because we got our hats. We're making hats for the event. It's gonna say "Make mining great again."
They'll have the Ergo logo on the back. Yep. They're gonna be red with white print. It's gonna look just like it. We're gonna match the font. It's gonna be great again. So we're gonna put in a DOW proposal for the SIGs. I think 100 hats we're getting. Was that it?
I think so. Yeah.
100 hats, and we might do something where we give away like every 5. So maybe we'll give away 20 hats in total. Either we do it like randomly, like, oh, you're the 5th hat purchaser, here you go, kind of thing, so that we make, we at least break even with that. But yeah,
that'd be cool. And I want to put up it'd be cool. I guess we should do it through the vote too. But I had this idea. It would be sick if somebody wanted to pay through their hash rate for a specific amount of time. So it's like, you want to buy a hat? Well, you can mine the hat. And then we can keep track of whatever your hash rate is over some time. And then once that meets some agreed threshold, maybe we'll mint an NFT, and then, of course, get their details personally. We don't have to do a whole system, but it would be kind of cool.
I mean, we have the system. We can do that pretty easily. We can do, essentially, we can do a hat pool, and a hat just like we do BTC and Rosen for now. I could make a hat wallet, and people can mine to the hat wallet and just segment their thing like we do with the other things. And then after a certain threshold, it
just on them to switch it. Then
they'd have to switch it. Yeah, we can't switch them off it. But on a certain threshold, we could send them an NFT to their wallet and say, "Hey, by the way, switch your miner back to the normal pool because you've earned a hat."
Yeah, that'd be so sick. Honestly,
that would be cool. A hat and for merchandise. And we're getting them from Greasy Sex. Is the leader of Greasy Sex has a kind of a gateway to apparel. That's what he does kind of in his real life. So we're getting a quote for that, and we'll put that up there. Hats, sweatshirts, all that kind of stuff. So that should be. I can't wait to buy my not my Greasy Sex, my make mining great again. Funny thing is, I had a red hat that had white writing on it once that I wore a couple years ago, and it's funny. I live in a very, very liberal town, college town, big 20,000 kids just in the school alone. So it's a very liberal college town. And walking through like Wegmans or that kind of thing, you should see these very affluent, like grayish, graying hair ladies that look like their hair is absolutely beautiful and silky, just looking at me for a second, and then they back off. Like I'm about ready to be attacked.
It's a good way if you're not trying to get anybody to sit by you, just put the hat on. Like, I don't know if you watched the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode with that.
I didn't see that episode, but
yeah, basically he's sitting at like a sushi restaurant and he's got his hat down. Oh, you want to sit here? Sure. He puts the hat on and it's an actual MAGA hat. He's like, yeah, go ahead. They're like, oh, no.
Oh boy. All right, what else did you want to? There was one more thing you brought up that I told you I would definitely forget.
Oh geez.
Yeah, you forgot it, didn't you?
I think I did forget it. I'm trying to think real quick. Yeah, I guess it's not important. So
all right, maybe we'll come to it later.
Cool.
Oh, I wanted to mention this right here. Let me go to this right here. Congratulations to Crystal Pool for winning first place. That's a self-custodial exchange order book kind of thing. Duck Pool's got second place with the options trading platform, and Analog Ergo on the charts again. Two Ergo hacks in a row with their Lightning Network integration for this. Super cool. Super glad to see that. And these are the votes from I believe the Ergo Foundation, who puts out the Ergo hack.
Nice, nice.
Righty.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what everybody goes with it, just because I think from the last couple, generally new projects get stood up and new, just new ecosystems sort of just attracts people. It's like it's an on ramp to the ecosystem, and I'm personally really excited for crystal pools because I got some ideas for our mining pool, so we'll have to reach
Right.
out to them. But
Right. And the
but
cool thing too about crystal pools and Trade House is that potentially they can start sharing liquidity. And then
okay.
perhaps too, Louis Vuitton is trying to do some, what's it, buys or sells or something with some limit orders with the Spectrum liquidity pool. So
Oh,
when
wow.
these first came out, when Crystal Pool and Trade House came out, Kushti was like, "Oh, can you integrate Spectrum liquidity pool?" So it's possible, I think, but that'd be really neat, really, really
Yeah,
cool.
especially for like slippage, for some of these tokens, you like we're talking like I'm not sure about Bober, for example, but like say you're a Bober whale and you're trying to liquidate, probably going to be a lot of slippage fees, I guess, or something like that. So I guess that would be, wouldn't that would right? That would be something that would help negate that, or
It totally give you a great visualization of where your slippage is going to occur, at exactly what level, and
okay,
how much token is there for you to get before that slippage occurs. So that's the beauty of those kind of order books. You can see that precisely when that's going to happen and how much depth there is. So yeah,
transparency. That's what's
yeah,
up.
yeah. Speaking of Bober, I was talking to Maverick earlier. He was setting up. He's using again MGPy, ErgPy. I always tell MGPy you cannot abandon that tool. That's like the best gateway drug into the Ergo ecosystem. I mean, who doesn't know Python? ChatGPT knows Python, for shit's sake.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can definitely use it for anything. So I was talking to Maverick, and we were talking. I don't know how we got on the subject about it, but we were talking about central exchanges and how him and some other people were chatting about it at their poker night. I think Pixel and a few other people in Kilver, and they were talking about like the benefits of central exchange listings. And he said something really that made a lot of sense. He said, and I think we should change our narrative based on that, at least when these kind of things happen. He said, they're talking, and with central exchanges, the listings, everybody thinks they're for the immediate. Everybody thinks, like, at least for Ergo, that hey, it's a pump, it's going to pump the price, and then the price is going to stay up or maybe trickle down a little bit, but it's going to be a pump. But historically, we've seen with all the listings that we've had so far, at least in my recent memory, and even other people's listings, it doesn't sustain that way. Either it doesn't ever blip, like MEXC didn't even do anything, right? It just went down.
Right.
Um, kind of thing. So he said, look, we really need to be thinking about this as we are setting up the framework for when people finally realize what Ergo is and why they need it. And then
Mhm.
at that point, they're going to be able to access it in the United States. They're going to be able to access it in Indonesia. They're going to be able to access it wherever they need to, because we'll already be on those exchanges. So if we start looking at these exchange listings as not something that's going to be for a pump, an immediate price bump, but something that's laying the framework for accessibility for the not so far or the far future, then perhaps the community might be a little bit easier to more willing to invest in it for that kind of long-term investment, as well as manage their expectations of what price might even go down because people speculate against it, trade against it at that point.
Yeah, but
But
we're still the news.
I thought that was fairly insightful and a semi decent kind of narrative to put forward when these kind of things are happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think ultimately, right, we want to bring on more users and more on ramps. You're right. That's kind of really what we're driving towards, I would say. And I think yeah, a lot of the times it's correlated centralized exchanges with onboarding more users. But yeah, like you're suggesting, it's not always good for the price,
No, yeah, no.
right? So
But people have this huge expectation that that's what's going to happen. Then they're let down, and then that trickles and cascades even more when they're disappointed and sell. So
right.
it's just, I think if we do a good job of saying that right off the front, that hey guys, here's the listing we're going for next. Historically, remember, this is what happens when we list. So just a reminder, this is why we're listing. This is actually the true nature of why we're listing. We're listing for better access to this adoption. Not everybody can mine, so some people are left to buy it, of course. So this gives that better access, not only for right in the immediate, but far into the future.
And it's like, that's not really a healthy expectation too. Just because we get a tier 1 listing, we're going to go to the moon. But what happens if we don't? What's going to be your narrative to why, you know what I mean? And so from some aspects, again, it's like, let's not worry about like our expectations, where we should be. Why aren't we there? Let's worry about now, today. Let's continue to build forward. And, maybe eventually we'll get there. But if we focus too much on our expectations, especially in terms of price, it really doesn't help anybody. You know what I mean? You could even see this like in your own personal life, just laying out specific expectations like, oh, this happens, or, oh, whatever the case. Then you get upset with other people, you get upset with yourself. It doesn't really help anybody. So you got to kind of level set your own expectations, because otherwise you just you're going to make yourself kind of like an asshole, I guess. And I don't know.
All right. How about we dive into the dev updates?
Let's do it. Can you ping the specific where we're starting at?
Yeah, look back on the date 6/26/2024. It starts with Aberg, and I can get started with Aberg while you find it.
Okay, cool.
You'll see Kushti tag everybody for let's have a chat. All right, so we have Aberg Satergo Dev. Satergo Dev update: improved keyboard navigation. Oh, nice. Improve the screen reader experience so that blind people can use a wallet in a better way. Fix so that screen readers read dialogue. So that's awesome, Aberg. Improve the extended seed passphrase, aka BIP39 passphrase, aka Monomic password presentation to the user. I remember that chat. I don't know if he brought that up in the SIGs or the dev update, but that was a funny chat. I think he got a lot of advice that he wasn't necessarily looking for. That moment, he was like, I felt like he was about to say, "Fuck this! I'm not happy that I asked you now." The app build is a bit smaller now. Awesome. Next, working on tools section with tools like burn tokens, combine UTXOs, transfer everything, and airdrop. I wonder if we could talk Aberg into integrating the filter list too as a opt-in if you want to. I know Nautilus defaults to opt you in, but Aberg might be better minded, or prefer on his tool to maybe just have an opt-in option as opposed to automatically opt-in. Super cool.
Nice.
We got your favorite right here, Crystal Pool up next.
Crystal Pools. All right, so create/unlock wallet done. Found a balanced UX security trade-off. Mnemonic is stored encrypted with password and local storage, but survives page refresh and is shared across tabs with service worker. Added token selection widget for deposits. Working in deposits proxy address for mobile wallet deposits. Sweet.
All right, what do we have right here? We've got Kushti up next. Ergo protocol R&D. Most of time spent on this pull. Finally had to rewrite paging logic completely. Now that there are manual tests done as well. Next, unspent API methods for blockchain, as paging logic there is different. Testing 5.0.22. Still a lot of things to check, it seems. Mostly finished with the score. Sigma State Interpreter on this poll. We'll push soon, and then we'll review what's left for Sigma 6 again, aside of new big int type. Dexy discussing mainnet launch with Code for Us and others. Nice. Chain Cache fixed Fiat Shamir issue, discussing further work on Chain Cache server with Dusek. And looks like you've got another guy we were talking about earlier, or another project we were talking about earlier, Nautilus.
Yeah, so Nautilus released stable v0.11.0, added EIP44 support, arbitrary data signing, and then Fleet SDK released v0.50. I'll have to take a look at that. Signify revamped the UI with focus on usability, and then other Sigma Rust fixed WASM type exporting for modern built bundlers. And then asking Kushti and Dusek to review. Dusek.
We've got Louis Vantra with Soon Padilla. UI fixes and updates, working on moving last remaining Danades calls to use index node Crux API instead. Done contract work for treasury consolidation, contract work for min state amount for proposal creation, allowing DAOs to limit who can create proposals based on stake size. Oh, interesting. Max value for this is always half total staked amount to prevent locking a DAO. So this is neat. So the way Padilla works, everybody, if you're not familiar with it, is you're given DAO tokens. Essentially, when you create a DAO, you bind tokens to it, and you say, "Hey, when this DAO is made, this is a damn governance token, and it's a token that you mint." So then it's your job to distribute those tokens. So you can distribute those just like, let's say, how we did for Ergo Hack. So I took Ergo Hack for the community results. I gave 5 tokens to everybody who donated to the raffle. I gave 2 tokens to the Sigmanauts because they were running the whole thing. And I gave 1 token to the faucet people who connect to the faucet in the community and wanted to vote themselves. So what this is saying, what this will do is this will say, okay, we only want people with 4 or more tokens to be able to actually create proposals. So that would essentially make it so that only the people that voted in the raffles could then create proposals for people to vote on. And the Sigmanauts with 2 tokens and the community with 1 token wouldn't be able to do that. So it really kind of segments it out. What it allows for a broader range of participation while still kind of controlling a little bit of the top part. Where you maybe want a lot of community consensus and community participation, but you don't necessarily want somebody coming off the street like Sahar and making a fucking Padilla proposal about, I don't know, BBC or his balls or something. So this kind of stuff really helps with that. So it's really good to see. With Crux, refactoring the backend for DEX data as it was quite spectrum specific. Almost done integrating trade house order history and order book data. Oh, nice. Soon we will show combined order history for the different DEXs and which DEX on order is executed on. Also differentiating between orders made on Spectrum UI, Crux DEX, or other UIs, or direct LP interaction. With the refactoring done, it is much more generic, so adding Crystal Pool will be fairly trivial. Awesome. So he'll get all those in. Crux, it seems like it's really coming along to be the Swiss Army knife of kind of portfolio viewing. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, really cool tool. You guys have probably heard enough about our mining pool, but we're working on running on Flux. Actually, Second Lucky Time Mining, he's been a huge help with that. And so, yeah, looking on running it on Flux so we don't bog down the dash, or rather the mining core. Specifically, we're going to run it on ergominers.com. So I bought that domain. That's not up yet, but TBD. We already talked about this. It's not a vote yet, but it's a proposal. And then I'm looking at the register R9 for miner ID NFTs, just so we can add just some type of photo. Shout out to everybody who donated for the raffle. We've got RSBTC for bonus rewards. And then we're just waiting on QX to finalize the APIs so we can open up the beta for swapping.
Wait, we're pumping out that. I'm pumping that out, aren't
I? Yeah, but we just need the APIs, right? So I can put it in the Dash stuff, and then we can open it to other people.
Oh, I thought you meant bonus rewards, as in somebody donated.
Yes, that is done. Yeah, that's all integrated. Yep.
Great. Oh, we've got a big one from Rosenbridge. Here we go. The bridge scanner, they added authentication to the RPC scanner. For Bitcoin, added random ID to Bitcoin RPC scanner API calls. Fixed address extractor, update query not to store duplicate boxes. I wonder if they did this to stop people from getting rate limited, if that's what they're talking about. Perhaps that means, but I imagine whoever they're
called. What does that mean exactly?
Well, RPC, there are some RPC providers. It's kind of like another method to get information from a node from the blockchain. Okay. So random ID to Bitcoin RPC scanner API calls. I don't know. I think I'm overthinking that. It's probably not what I think it is. Fix address extractor update query not to store duplicate boxes. fix abstract extractor spend info extraction. This was a node issue that I think they're working on fixing too. This is not necessarily a Rosenbridge, but they fixed, they'd made a workaround until the node's fixed for that. I think it was showing duplicate boxes after a certain, if there are over 200 boxes in the wallet, I think it would start showing duplicate boxes. So not like you can do anything with it. It's just a reporting issue. It's not like you can double spend a box. That's the beauty of Ergo. It's just reporting that it's there. Apparently, there's a bug when signing Bitcoin transaction using hardware wallet through XDeFi. We contacted XDeFi team and they're checking it. This is on the Rosenbridge, Rosenet. Disable submit button while the fees are being fetched. Invalidate stale fee data when any source, target, or token changes. Add rate limiting to APIs and service actions as a prerequisite for enabling Rosen API access to the public. Prevent events page from crashing if networks inside of the code differ from the ones in tokens file. Enhance the code quality within the wallet and network modules to ensure robustness and maintainability. Develop the core logic for the Xverse wallet. Implement dynamic refresh functionality for available wallet extensions during runtime. Optimize the assets page by improving its logic, responsiveness, and overall user experience. For the Rosenbridge health check, they add random ID and authentication for Bitcoin RPC scanner health parameter. Update all parameters, format, and descriptions for the next version. For the CLI, they added a tag option to CLI download assets for downloading specific version of assets. Oh, that's great. The CLI, watchers finally used, I think, once to salt their passwords. So every once in a while, watchers will probably dip into the CLI. Luckily, Rosen team, they're great. They made a Docker for it. So essentially, you just download the Docker. You don't have to change anything in your system and just throw it a command and it spits out what you need. Rosenbridge notification, finish implementation of the abstract package, and start working on Discord package.
Nice. So we have Louis Vatra. Completely forgot. A week is a long time. Index node with a GraphQL facade for use in Nautilus. It uses index node instead of Explorer and feeds mempool data as it is confirmed, so balances real time, although with double spending, etc. It could show buggy numbers using index node instead of Explorer, is easier to distribute, so even without the mempool stuff could be interesting.
All right, we've got, even MGPy says it's very cool.
Nice.
Got the MGPy stamp of approval. All right, we've got Death Grip Sun. Death Grips On, as Joe told me last week. Analog Ergo Atomic Swap, third place winner. Integrated several market price APIs for Ergo and Ethereum price feeds such as Bitpanda, Kraken, etc. Automated order type updating allows market server to configure order types, grab prices from market APIs, and update all order types on an interval. Includes things like min and max volume, price rounding, and which market API to get prices from per order type. Account creation generalization removed any hard coding relating to accounts. Servers and clients now automatically find accounts created by the users. CLI account setup script also updated for generalization. Market server blocking operations fixed. Any operation that requires more than an instant prevents the server from serving other clients during the long process wrapping in. Allows it to execute in parallel without blocking the main event loop. Ergo script verification bug fix, remove multiple calls to get height. The market server was getting blockchain height multiple times during contract deployment. This led to server sending a slightly different static block height to the client if a new block was found during deployment. In a real verification failure, a client will refuse fulfilling the swap and refund their own coins from their side of the atomic swap contract. I can't imagine how complex this thing that Death Grips On is building. It's pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
And then Abrig asked me for prices from Spectrum, and I gave him the wrong URL to be an asshole. Just kidding, it's the right URL. Let's see. Kushni changed his image to the astronaut, and this is what we're gonna make some t-shirts. We're gonna try to make some t-shirts for Rare Evo, and we're gonna put this astronaut on it, the old style astronaut. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great again.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Anything else here? We're on the 27th. That was it, sir.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Is this your first Ergoversary?
Yeah, officially, I suppose. Yeah.
Should we sing?
What do you want to sing?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ergo. Happy birthday to you. There's our musical birthday number for Ergo.
Heck yeah. Make it a memorable one.
All right, Mark, anything you want to say before we part?
No, yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks for everybody's time. Let's live, laugh, and love.
What if we just want to live and laugh?
Well, it's your own prerogative. Free world, I suppose, right?
Oh, I always forget to mention. They're always so busy coding. Oh, what was it? Cyberverse did. What did they do this week? Do you remember what Cyberverse did this week? Was it something with Cardano again?
Yeah, I think they have. No, yeah. What did they do?
Well, we listed them on Trade House, so you can get Cyberverse token on Trade House. I think there's a decent amount of depth. I think there's like 300 or 400 in each direction. So that's there. It's one of the first project tokens to be on Trade House. So it's a good token to mess around with. And I posted it on the Cyberverse. Oh, that's what it is. Cyberverse got a Reddit subreddit. So it's very specific to Cyberverse, which is great. So if you guys have time, pop in there and you enjoy the game, check it out. Lots of fun.
They're also doing an event. So if you have an NFT, it gives an opportunity for you to figure out the lore for that NFT.
That's what it is. Yep.
And then I think you get some type of prize or something like that for it, which is pretty cool. So
make up the lore for your own character, I think it is.
Yeah.
And then they'll judge you on it and give you a prize based on the best ones. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
definitely. So what's your lore going to be?
I don't know. My guy's like it's like some, he looks like kind of Marty outfit wearing, but different colors. And he's got like this robot semi mono glasses kind of thing on. So we'll see what it is.
I got a couple of redheaded guys, so I think they'll all be brothers or something like that. And a different sombrero guy, maybe he'll come back from the future to hunt down the brothers or something.
Redhead, they'll all be stepchildren, and they'll all be angry.
Yeah, exactly. Redheaded stepchildren with no souls, absolutely.
Oh boy, that's funny. All right, great. I think it's 10:50 over here at my time. It's time for me to settle down and go to bed. And we've got a whole nother day tomorrow of more videos from all the way from people that we have no idea what they're saying, all the way down to the Sigmanauts chat. And then I will tell the people who are watching right now on a secret. We did record a return of Hash It Out. It's CW, myself, Quaka, Crypto Quaka, and Dan the Man. So you can imagine how much of a shit show that 55 or 58 minutes of just shit slinging on Hash It Out with no holds barred. I think I had alcohol. I don't think Dan did. He was about ready to go to bed. CW maybe had some, and Quaka definitely had his Heineken. So it's going to be a fun video. Hopefully it doesn't get us banned from YouTube.
Great. Yeah, definitely a good one to tune into. Looking forward to that.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you tomorrow with more Ergoversary. Ciao.
All right, see everyone.